So someone who's just getting started, do you think that more people are better poised to focus on residential or commercial since you do both?
I say it's got to be residential. I think unless you come from a real estate family or have some unique partner or something like that, I wouldn't touch commercial because commercial is expensive, it's slow, and it's completely different. I would not fool with it if it's early on.
Okay. So if somebody's trying to buy an asset, you're pretty much recommending just try to find something that you can get easy financing on and don't, because I hear a lot of people that want to do, I'm hearing a lot of things right now. People are trying to, wholesale flip a lot of stuff right now, and that can be a little interesting. I had somebody write an offer on a property recently that they want to do owner financing, but it's in an LLC. So the way it looks like they're just trying to get that under contract and then flip it to somebody else to actually buy. Do you see a lot of people taking advantage of stuff like that, or is do people? What are your thoughts on
Huge
stuff like
right now because the market's shifting and banks are charging so much more for lending, be it residential or commercial. A lot of savvy investors are now saying, let me just ask these sellers to finance it to me. And I've done that on some commercial assets. It's not complicated. If there's no debt on the thing, or even if there is debt from the prior owner, they can wrap it and sell it to you on a second note. So it's fairly simple.
So
But you can get
explain
that
how that would
asset without
work
having to
then?
go through lending. So let's say you own a house. You told me you were buying a house in Green, Texas, I think, not long ago, or New Braunfels.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. You buy that. You got yourself a mortgage on it. It's in your name. Let's say you want to sell it. Well, if I'm going to buy it from you, I got to go get approved from the bank, go through the process, put down the down payment. But let's say you think I'm a good investor, you think I'm trustworthy, and you're willing to sell it to me on a wrap note. What that means is you're not going to sell it to me for the $500,000 that you paid for it. You're going to sell it to me for $700,000 because it's appreciated. So now you've got a note where I owe you money like I would owe the bank, and you can wrap in regular mortgage notes with a second note. So what happens is I make a payment to you of, let's just say, $7,000 a month, and then you take that $7,000 and pay $4,000 to your mortgage, and you keep the difference. And what's neat about that is you're making a bunch of money on the interest over the period, over 30 years, much more so than you probably would on appreciation in that asset because you're getting paid right now along the way. So it's called a sub 2. That's another thing that I would recommend folks that are just getting involved in real estate. I'd say go buy yourself 1 to 4 family rental house. And if you find opportunities to buy sub 2, that's even more interesting because you can do those for almost like no money, like almost 10, 20 grand out of pocket. That's it.
Yeah. So the deal we had, they were offering a little bit of money on it, but so let's say somebody does that though. What's the benefit really on both sides, right? So is that going to be a 30-year note or is that like a 10-year note?
Depends. What do you offer? That's the neat thing. When you go to Wells Fargo and say, I want a house loan, 30 years, 30 AM, 20% down, whatever. If we're doing it between me and you, it can be 4 years. It can be 9.2 years. It can be 40 years, 30, whatever we want. So that's where someone needs to have some level of sophistication, and they have to put this in an AM schedule and say, if this person is paying me down at this rate, I need to A, make sure I'm paying my bank down at the same rate, and B, I need to make sure my return is worth it. On the seller side, I wouldn't always recommend doing it, especially if you have debt on it, because the big issue is that mortgage stays in your name. So if the buyer doesn't pay that mortgage, if the buyer doesn't pay you, you still have to make that payment to make sure that you don't go into default. But on the buyer side, we make those offers to folks all the time, even with commercial real estate. You'd be surprised, probably 1 in 10 accept.
And that's pretty high rates, 1 in 10.
Great odds, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you're seeing that now in Austin because folks are coming in and saying people are having a hard time selling, the market's shifting. Let me give this a shot.
Oh yeah, I'm getting a bunch of those, but a lot of them are, they're coming in, they're saying, well, will your seller do owner financing? But then they're offering like 100,000 less or something. They're not actually offering favorable terms to the seller. Yeah.
Typically, when a person makes an owner finance offer, they have to pay market or slightly above to get that special treatment.
Right.
Ain't no discount on that one, baby. No way.
Yeah, that's a scenario we ran into. They were playing basically just market for the property. And yeah, interesting. So that's something, if you're thinking about that, I would definitely consider it, because it's with the market softening and we don't really know what's going to happen in 2023. Really. I have some ideas, but I don't think they're the tough part about this is every time we do something where we say, okay, this is going to happen next year, everyone's wrong. There's not very many people are actually 100% right. So let's talk about 2023. Obviously you did a lot of investing in 2022. What are you looking for investing in 2023? What's your strategy?
For me, it's a little different. I've started to get really comfortable with the light industrial. So I'm continuing to buy more of that. And because I can't buy it at the same rate that I want to, I'm developing it. So 3 sites I'm developing that right now with light industrial warehouses. So there's a lot of that.
So walk us through how that works.
So I'll back up a sec and tell you why I like them. If you have a rent house, you have cabinets that can be damaged. You have carpet that might need to get shampooed. You have shorter term. It's a year-to-year lease. It's a gross lease. The owner pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance, and the tenant just pays a rent check. Those are all the factors when it comes to residential. But light industrial is like red iron building, maybe 15 to 20 foot tall. That's the clear height inside the building. And it's just the warehouse buildings that you see all over the place. They're not the massive concrete tilt wall. They're just metal buildings. That's really what it is. You can build those things for about $70, $80 a square foot. And you can rent them for $10 to $13 a square foot a year. But what's interesting about that is it's triple net leases. So if you were going to get the 1% rule, it doesn't shake out that way. For the 1% rule in metal buildings, it's about 1.5% to 1.75% if you build them yourself. So it's far higher. But the cool part is that's a net rent. The tenant pays taxes, insurance, and maintenance, and they cut me as the landlord one check. So every month, I don't even have to have a property management company. My gal at my front desk either collects a check or calls the lawyer and says evict them. That's all the property management it takes. And let me spin on something else for you. There's no cabinets, like I said earlier. There's no carpet to mess up. It's concrete floor and metal structure. I got 30-year-old light industrial buildings that look brand new. You can't destroy these things, dude.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yes.
So triple net lease, like basically you're taking profits off of their sales, right?
Well, no, that's a different type of deal. But what the triple net means is taxes, insurance, and maintenance. That's triple. They're all paid by the tenant, and it's a net lease to me. I just collect a rent check, a base rent. So the rent rate is a little bit lower, relatively speaking, but the return is huge. It really is. They're so simple to manage. The leases on these, they're not year to year like a single family or a fourplex would be. Some of these leases are
5
from
years,
3
right?
to 7 years. I try to push some of them longer, but yeah, big terms.
Thanks for watching this short of the Real Amigos podcast. For more live streams, hit here. For more clips, hit here. We'll catch you on the next one.